She knew him for a while. He gave her a record deal, and then it became a personal relationship, which quickly devolved into these freak-offs, these sessions where she would be hiring male escorts to have sex with her, while Sean Diddy Combs allegedly watched from another part of the room or the hotel suite that they happened to be at.
Also, and this is gonna ruffle some people's feathers, I feel sorry for Cassie this much, because she was with this man for about 18 years. He was nasty all 18. And I guarantee you, before he was nasty and in a relationship with her, she used to watch him be nasty with other people. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to The Authoritative Show, brought to you by Shinergy, the natural supplement company. Natural energy drink is powered by, I'm drinking my Shinergy right now. I'm almost to the bottom. So make sure you get some Shinergy today. It's all natural. You ain't got to worry about crash. We developed it with a formulator. This is not private label stuff, white label. This is borrowing a product of somebody else's creativity. This is our own formulator, Steve, who formulated this from the ground up. So we created energy so you don't have to crash. And then we also created complete energy, which you have in a night drink as well. So we want you to get good quality sleep, be able to wake up with energy, have energy throughout the day. Nobody's doing this but Shinergy. All right. So go to shinergylife.com, shinergylife.com, and get you some supplements today. But let's talk about P Diddy, Sean P Diddy. Now, I just want to give my honest opinion about it. We'll pull up the news clip to start with, but let me give my honest opinion about it. I'm not shocked that P Diddy was involved in this. It's not something that I think is abnormal for people in his stature and lifestyle. We already knew they nasty because all you got to do is listen to their songs. So nobody should be shocked that P Diddy was doing the stuff that he used to sing about. Also, and this is going to ruffle some people's feathers, I feel sorry for Cassie this much, because she was with this man for about 18 years. He was nasty all 18. And I guarantee you, before he was nasty and in a relationship with her, she used to watch him be nasty with other people. And so I kind of feel sorry for her, because nobody should be abused. But at the same time, if he was a plumber or he was working a 9-to-5 somewhere and he was broke, she wouldn't put up with that for 30 minutes. The first time he said something nasty and peed on her, she would have been out of there. So she have to take responsibility. Women, you got to take some responsibility for being in a relationship with toxic men who you know they're toxic, and you know the only reason you stand because they got money and you love the lifestyle and fame, and you're willing to take abuse to a certain degree in order to continue the lifestyle of being rich and famous. Let's just keep it real. However, that does not give a man the right to do stuff like this. You're going to end up going to jail just like he did. And I think the biggest loser in this situation, which is honorable if he stayed with Cassie after this, but the man who took the heat the most is Cassie's husband. She's literally on the stand pregnant, and in court and the opening testimony, they're talking about how people used to pee in her mouth and do all kind of crazy stuff. Just imagine. I wouldn't go to that hearing. I would tell my wife off the bat, baby, be honest with me. Was it bad? If I'm in court, let's play this scenario. Baby, if I'm in court and you finna testify to this man who was a heinous person that did all these negative things and he's gonna do the rest of his life in prison, he got freak-offs and all kinds of stuff. Baby, were you doing a lot? Because my soul don't need to know you like that. I only know you as a beautiful angel that loves me and all this other stuff. I don't want to know people that they peeing on you and stuff. All right, are they doing nasty stuff to you? Because I'm gonna support you, but I can't sit there and listen. But if I did decide to support my wife, I ain't running out the courtroom like her husband did. Bro, you can't run out the courtroom when you already volunteered to be there for her. Anyway, let's play the clip so you guys can get a glimpse of this. I do think P Diddy is probably, I don't know, a lot of testimonies going forth of nasty, dirty, freaky, kinky, freak off, baby oil, people urinating on people. I don't know yet, is that illegal? At this point, being nasty ain't illegal. So hopefully the prosecution can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that some of the things he did included him trafficking people. But anyway, roll the clip.
There was intense testimony today by Cassie Ventura. She took the stand for a second day. Yesterday, we learned of how she met Sean Diddy Combs. We learned of the early days of their relationship, of how she knew him for a while. He gave her a record deal, and then it became a personal relationship, which quickly devolved into these freak-offs, these sessions where she would be hiring male escorts to have sex with her, while Sean Diddy Combs allegedly watched from another part of the room or the hotel suite that they happened to be at. So yesterday it was basically a young naive. She was talking about when she was 19, when she was 20 years old, 21, a young naive woman meeting this superstar who was at the height of his power, at the height of his fame, and that how she just became involved.
I do give her a little bit of grace because she was young and potentially naive. But this should be a message to all you young women out there. You need to have a moral standard that's consistent. Somebody teach your daughters to have a moral standard that's consistent. Because would she have been with P Diddy if he was broke? The answer is no. P Diddy is not that good looking of a man, in my personal opinion. No homo. Cassie is one of the most beautiful women that you're going to see. She could do better than P Diddy. But I'm telling you, a young 19, and a lot of women are like this. Not a lot of women who are beautiful are like this. Not every woman, but a lot of women who are beautiful, who have access to just about anybody they want because of their beauty, they will put up with people who are rich and famous when they shouldn't. She was young and looking for a way out. She got a little record deal, and she saw he probably promised her the moon. And he a dirtbag. He's probably rude. All kind of other stuff that you would think that P Diddy is. I don't think he ever changed. He's been like that from the beginning. But what happens was when you see them dollar signs, you start seeing the fame and flying on private jets, and you start seeing that elevation more than the person that you with, you get caught up like Cassie. So I give her some grace because she was young, but also it's about the money. It's all about the Benjamins. Roll the clip.
In these freak-offs, not so much because she wanted to herself, but because she wanted to please him. She wanted to make him happy. And then gradually, but very steadily and very, at a rapid pace, she found out that if she did not participate in these freak-offs, he would get angry with her. And then she said there were beatings, allegedly, and that he would also punish her by taking her electronics away. So today we basically pick up in the middle of their relationship. She's describing it, how he's becoming more controlling. They showed evidence in court, photographs of Cassie with bruises on various parts of her body, a big gash over her eye where she says she was shoved into the headboard of a bed at one of the hotels after one of these freak-offs, and that also the emotional toll that these freak-offs were taking on her. She wasn't able to pursue the music career that she had been promised and that she had wanted to do early on. And she was also talking about the emotional toll on her. She wanted to have a one-on-one relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, and she said she was starting to feel that all he wanted her for was these freak-offs, which he would verbally assure her that was not the case. But she said they were happening at the rate of about one a week, sometimes lasting from 1 to as many as 4 days. They were drug fueled. She was taking ecstasy, they were taking cocaine, they were taking mushrooms. And then to come down on it, what she revealed today was that she developed an opiate addiction. She was taking opioids in order to calm herself down, and also to numb herself. And she said that's what was happening. She just had to numb herself from the entire experience, and in her words, she used the word disassociate from what was happening because it was just so painful. She also testified that over the years of her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, she developed there were hundreds of freak-offs. She developed ongoing UTIs, urinary tract infections, which even though they were being treated and even though very painful, she had to continue doing these freak-offs. And then she also said she developed sores in her mouth from the activity that was going on, oral sex and things of that nature, baby oil, all kinds of things happening at these freak-offs with her and another man. And then she named at least 12 of the escorts, the male escorts. Their pictures were shown in open court. And then when it came time to talk about some of the intimidation that she felt, she said that Diddy, when she would hesitate about participating in the freak-offs or tell him, I can't do this anymore, she says he allegedly threatened to expose her with videos. He had taken videos of these freak-offs and shame her publicly with the videos of those freak-offs. So today what happened was the judge ruled that the images, the still images from these freak-offs could be shown to the jury, which they were. Then Cassie went on to testify about how the relationship, she was getting to the point where she needed to end it, she wanted to end it, and that one of the big bombshell pieces of testimony that came out of today was she said that 2018 she met Combs for what was supposed to be a nice dinner to basically end things amicably, which is what she thought was going to happen. They had a lovely dinner, she said, and then they went back to her house, which was not too unusual. And then as soon as they were back in the house, she said that Combs forced her to have sex, that she was sexually assaulted by him at that particular point.
Hold on. I think that's the end of the clip. Like, y'all, I'm really not trying to be insensitive, but I do want to just point out, I think that if what Cassie is saying is happening, is sad that she went through it, but you cannot just act as if every single day she's in a trance, just existing in life. I mean, at some point, you got to take responsibility at some point. And all that is being mentioned, it's going to be hard to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that, in fact, this is happening to her. It's going to be very difficult for her. They may have some more proof and evidence, but when you've been with somebody for 18 years, that's a long time. And you have not said anything until 2023. I mean, when I say anything, you didn't do anything about it. And then when you go to do something about it, you don't do anything criminal, meaning that you don't go to prosecute him. You sue him civilly, and he settles for $20 million within 24 hours. And that's it. So I don't know what the real truth is. Diddy probably is a very terrible person. I wouldn't argue that he's not. And he probably did a lot of stuff that she's saying. But I just want to make the point and reiterate that at some point, man, and this is how young women get in trouble, at some point you got to take responsibility. If a man is mistreating you like this for so long, you got to leave the relationship, because if you don't, it looks as if in part you are coercive, well, not coercive, but you are vicariously responsible in your own demise. How many of these freakoffs, they're going to pull out text message information. They're going to pull out a lot of other stuff that's going to show her commenting about these freakoffs. And her only excuse is going to be, well, I said I liked it, although I didn't like it. I said I was enjoying it, although I didn't. I went to break up with Diddy, but somehow he swindled me back to being in a relationship, and he came back to my place and we had sex, and I didn't want to have sex. How you going to prove that you didn't want to do it when you invite him back to your place after he's supposed to be this abusive person, and you go to break up with him and then you end up back with him? And I'll just say this, it's going to be an uphill battle to climb for Cassie in this situation. And I don't know, maybe they got other evidence to get Diddy, hemmed up, but being a nasty freak, this is why people need Jesus. Being a nasty, godless freak isn't illegal. And if you participated in it at any point, it's going to be hard to prove that you did not agree to this stuff. Because now, 23 years later, you could say, oh, I really didn't like that. Or I really didn't feel like I wanted to do that. Oh, I got UTIs and I did this and then all these things happened to me. And you didn't even say anything all this time. It's going to be very hard for her to prove her case. Some people may disagree with me. Let's just play the clip that went viral that got them in the situation to start with. Somebody had this clip. I just want people to understand that somebody had this clip and decided to hold on to this clip until a certain date. This didn't just happen. So who had the footage of P Diddy doing this, and then they end up releasing it at this time? It's crazy to me. When this happened to this woman, somebody who saw this footage should have reported him to the police immediately. This is assault. And I would argue this is aggravated assault. But just watch a quick clip. Online, they have the whole 15-minute interaction. But this is just a clip. We edited and made it into 1 minute and 50 seconds. Roll it. Viewer discretion is advised. Who is she calling on that phone? It look like it's different angles. I think you guys have seen enough. Let me add this real quick. Do we have another video on deck? All right, let's play this interview with Cassie real quick, and then I'm gonna give my final thoughts and we're gonna move on. Roll it.
Diddy's ex, Cassie Ventura, who is 9 months pregnant, was on the stand for the second day in a row. The jury was shown photos of past injuries. She also testified the freakoffs left her with sores, frequent UTIs, and stomach problems. This afternoon, jurors watched a series of graphic images from freak-off sex parties involving Diddy and Cassie.
According to Cassie, she was embarrassed by it. She even talked about, what would I tell my mom if something like this got out? There was a text message shared from 2017 where she said nothing good comes out of freak-offs. And then she says, you treat me like you're Ike Turner. And that was a nod to the abuse that she says she suffered.
I survived what I've been through.
For the third day in a row, jurors watched hotel surveillance of Diddy abusing Cassie. The full, unedited 15-minute version was entered as evidence and shows moments we hadn't seen before. Cassie barefoot in a dark hoodie, waiting for the elevator and using the hotel phone. And this security director responding to the attack took these pictures of the aftermath: broken vases and marks on the wall. And this awkward moment with Diddy and Cassie from the 2018 Met Gala is going viral.
Is there anything that you may want to confess tonight before you go in?
I keep everything right here.
There you go.
Or right here.
There you go.
Something else happened today in court that was worth noting. There were messages where she seemingly wants to have a freak-off. Says things like, LOL, I can't wait. The prosecution asked her, why would you say that if you didn't really want to do it? And she explained that she said those things because she was fearful of Combs and because she wanted to keep the relationship going.
This is why I say that. Because she wanted to keep the relationship going. Like, at some point, you cannot claim to be a victim when this dude is so terrible. He's doing freak-offs. You don't want to do it no more, but yet you're still trying to do it. And I don't want to hear this ongoing idea that she must just be going through trauma and that's the reason why she responding this way. You can't, I don't accept that, because then you can use the same traumatic response in the reason why Diddy like he is, because somebody must have abused. Diddy had issues. He must be out of his mind because he using drugs just like she using drugs. He in the corner taking care of himself while he watching somebody who's good. He just as messed up as all these other people are. Let me say this too, and I'm not giving him a pass. I hope he go to jail for if he did crime. I hope he go to jail, and I hope that she get the justice she deserve, if in fact there's justice to get. But some of y'all that have ever seen domestic violence or been in domestic violence, you know that it's a lot of times it's a two-way thing. There are cases where it's a man that's just abusive and a woman trying to get out and he's threatening her and keeping her kids and doing all that stuff. That does happen. But a lot of times it's two ways. Some people, they like the confrontation. They feed off of it, right? There's another person that knew Diddy and Cassie. He made a statement about it, and he was just saying she triggered Diddy all the time. And she would do things to make Diddy mad. She would make him feel jealous or whatever the case may be, and he's a nut. So if you making a nut mad and he acts a certain way, at what point do you say both of these people are crazy and both of these people are in a toxic relationship? I arrested so many women and I've arrested women who beat up on men too. I've arrested so many women or arrested so many men for beating up a girl and she back at his house and mad at us for taking him to jail. And you can't just say, oh, because she in an abusive relationship. We take him to jail. He's in jail. We get her the services. She has the people come out and talk to her about domestic violence prevention, and she over his house like nothing ever happened. Some people, they like that. They can't be with somebody that's nice to them. They want to be with somebody crazy. They want to be with somebody that just argue with them, fight with them. They like fighting back. They start the fight one day, the other person starts the fight. Some people are just addicted to toxicity. And even if it don't be physical, there's still people that's addicted to being with another person. They got to argue with them every day. I've seen it. I've been around it. People, they live like this. And those of you who ain't familiar with domestic violence or none of this stuff, you ain't never really been in it, or some of y'all disingenuous, you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you ever seen it, been around people that do it, you're like, well, wait a minute. This dude is such a violent person. Why are you arguing with him? Why are you going in the room and arguing with him? Why are you cussing him out and saying the very thing you know gonna trigger this dude? But yet you scared of him. But you could go out the front door and leave, but you don't want to leave. You want to sit in the living room argue with this dude that you scared of. And then you know it make him mad when you say something about the fact that he ain't never gonna be nothing. What's the first thing the person say in an argument? That's why you ain't never gonna be nothing. And then the fight on. Man, they dusting up. Do you really want to get away from this situation? Or are you contributing and two toxic people engaging? There's a part of me that believes that's this Diddy situation. Is that Cassie, of course, Diddy is a man, so he can beat her up if they get into a fight, but she don't want to leave that lifestyle. She don't want to leave that money. She don't want to leave that private jet. She really, you know what I'm saying? She doing what it takes, the price to pay to be rich and famous. There's so many people in it right now that you watching that's your celebrity sweethearts, and they with a guy and they get to live all this lavish lifestyle, but this guy making them do all kind of stuff. They cheating, they doing all this stuff. And some women, and not all, and I'm not saying women deserve to be treated this way, but some women can take it and say, I'd rather be treated bad with a rich man than be treated good with a poor man. Come on, somebody in the comment section know what I'm talking about. Some women rather be treated poorly with a rich man than treated with respect and dignity and love with a guy that's working all day, 9 to 5. Y'all got to sacrifice on one car in the garage, one TV. You can't get unlimited internet. You got to get some temporary. Some people rather be with that dude that cuss him out every now and again, slap him every now and again. I'm telling you. And it's not all women. It's not a lot of women, but there are women that's like that. And I think Cassie was one of them. But the trial shall reveal the truth. Okay, I got to get the moving.